I don't know if they told you or you figured out why in our game, but I had an appendectomy. And funny story. So I had a great summer, and it ended with all of us going to Disney, my family. And because I have a 9-year-old daughter who touches everything, the whole family came back with COVID. And as I was recovering from COVID or being sick with COVID, or whatever you want to say, I developed stomach pain. And I was like, huh, that's interesting that none of my family members have the stomach COVID. They all have the upper respiratory COVID. And so I was like, whatever, I knew it could be an appendicitis, but at the same time, I was like, it's probably just my pain. I have chronic pain. I have rheumatoid arthritis. I have fibromyalgia. I have IBS. So I was like, it's just one of those things. However, I knew I wasn't going to feel better in time to get back to work on Friday, because we had to come in on Friday. So I went to the walk-in on Thursday, hoping that I'd just get a doctor's note for Friday. And he was like, no, you're going to go to the ER and get a CAT scan. And I was like, great. So interestingly enough, while I'm sitting in the ER for many, many hours, I got there about 4. I didn't get my scan until about midnight. So that was fun. But while I'm sitting in the ER, I'm texting with my daughter's Girl Scout group about sending a gift over to one of the troop leaders who had an emergency appendectomy. So I thought it was kind of funny that at the same time that I was talking to a group of friends about the procedure I was about to get, they had no idea that I was in the ER about to get it. So long story short, I have 3 incisions in my belly. I don't know if you get grossed out by this stuff, but I think it's kind of cool that my appendix came out through my belly button. It's very Alien. If you've ever seen those Alien movies, that's what it makes me think of, Alien coming out of my stomach. All right, anyway, that was not the point of the video, but I figured you might want to know. Also, anything that you do want to know, even if it's just dumb questions about me or questions about the class or literally anything that you want to know, email me, cnappy, N-A-P-P-I, @monmouthregional.net. Okay. Or, post a comment on Classroom. I don't care. I'm literally doing nothing, and I hate doing nothing. So please feel free to bother me. All right. Here's what I was going to get into. One of the things that I want you to know about our class is that we are a team. Miss McKean, she's our sports fan. She is into teamwork. She's all about being a team player. And that's why I love working with her. And I don't know. I try to be fun. I think I'm really supportive. I think I'm a good teacher. And my number one goal is for you really to be successful in whatever goal you have for yourself. English is the medium that I chose to teach with so that we could talk about human experience, and everything that includes, really. So my goal is not for you to be the best writer, or to even get an A or a B. That would be great, and I hope we do. But my goal is just for you to find success where success lives for you, and help you get there. So class will be work, because I really do value education. I think it's invaluable. I think, aside from money, it's the thing that's going to help you find success. And I don't mean high school. I mean education, period. So whatever you choose to educate yourself in, or whatever you learn, is going to give you a leg up in life. And I love learning. It's really cool. Yeah, I'm a nerd. Most of you know me, and some of you don't, and I don't know you. I don't want to get to know you. And I'm really bummed that I'm stuck at home while all of you are getting to know each other. So I decided that I'm going to do my best to create ways for us to engage, since I won't be back till the 18th. I wanted to come back for a couple days next week, but the doctor had different plans. And apparently we have to listen to doctors. I wouldn't be doing a good job as a mindfulness teacher if I ignored my doctor's orders and decided not to rest, even though I want to hang out with you. So here I am in all of my recovery glory, great hair and everything. Be you, man, be you. So anyway, welcome to Mindfulness. I hope that you want to be here because I want you to be here and we do a lot of cool stuff. But a lot of the class is dependent on you and what you want to do and what you're willing to do, and the class kind of working together on some level. So keep that in mind as we move forward. Some other things that I should know. Hey, 2. Welcome to Mindfulness. I didn't even notice I was doing this. This is a mudra. There can be used for different things. This one being focus. Focus, Mrs. Nappy. Right? We can all do that for me when I get unfocused. So part of the reason, like I said, that I'm doing this video, maybe I didn't say that, is because I can't get to know you. And I want to like form a relationship with you guys because I feel like that's really important in any class, but especially in a class like this, because we kind of have to trust each other and feel comfortable sharing things. You don't have to share things, but you want this to be an environment where other people do feel comfortable sharing if they'd like to. And sometimes, for whatever reason, that doesn't happen. So one of the things that I say in the beginning of the year, I just have something stuck in my tooth. I have to stop. Hold on. It's kale. It was kale. All right. So I remember now. One of the things that I like to say in the beginning of the year is to think of the room as Vegas, like anything that happens here, said here, stays here. Not everybody felt like that last year. Some classes did, some classes didn't, and the classes that did feel comfortable with one another went remarkably better for everyone. I think they got a lot more out of it. So choice is yours, but maybe just be open-minded, as that's part of the practice of mindfulness. In fact, you might be wondering, like, what is mindfulness, right? It's being mindful. No, that's not just it. Mindfulness is, by definition, the process of being aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, in a non-judgmental way, and being aware of the world around you and the people around you in that same non-judgmental way. It's almost as just like you're observing what is, and then even observing like how you react to what is. And noticing, like, do I like the way that I react to that? Because mindfulness really invites a kind of response as opposed to reaction. Meaning a response is something I've thought about and I'm delivering to you. Like, here's my response, right? A reaction is emotionally charged and it's my immediate impulsive thought and feeling that comes from whatever it was that activated me. So we wanted to try to move from reacting to responding, and responding in a way that really reflects who we are and our values, as well as our self-worth. So all of that's really important. And it takes a while to kind of get to that place where you feel like, oh, I do have self-worth. I do have strong values. So those are things that we'll be exploring as well. If that sounds like something you're not interested, by all means, take a study hall, take a different elective, no hard feelings. But if it does sound like stuff you're interested, I say stick around because we're gonna do a lot of fun stuff. I have some organizations that I'm already teaming up with. Kids Consciousness, who's been at the school before, and Prosper Foundation. It's a mental health foundation, and it's a nonprofit that works with mostly young people, I believe. Who's not here for that? So that being said, make sure that you look at the survey on Google Classroom and please fill it out. The survey not only has questions for me that will help launch our first podcast,
but also has important questions for you about things that you want to fundraise for, what you'd be interested in volunteering for. Also, I let you know that there's can be a connection between Mr. Nappy's Be the Change project and the work that we do in the classroom, either together or that you choose to do on your own. So we can link up there and you can kind of kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. What else about the class? You may have noticed I'm going to try to do yoga and yoga nidra every month. Yoga nidra is a sleep meditation. It is a favorite of almost all students. Yeah, we get to take a nap, or you get to take a nap led by me. So that's a good time. You might have noticed I also want to have us create some content for the news. The news is moving through a little bit of a transition right now because we have a few less people working on it than were working on it last year. And so we are currently looking at doing one news segment a week. If we have more student workers and volunteers, that will undoubtedly increase. But what I want to think about us doing is content in terms of any area that we're talking about, mental health, self-care, whatever it is, celebrating random fun things that are worth celebrating or just fun to celebrate. So yeah, I want us to create content for that as well. So I really plan to do a lot more practical stuff than I've been able to do the last few years because of COVID. And that's kind of what we were doing before COVID. So I'm excited to get back to that work with you guys because I know you're an amazing group. All right, so enough about class. Send me any questions you have. I will answer them. And the first podcast maybe might just be me introducing everything since we're not together to record and host one like I plan to in the future. But send me your questions is the end of the point to the conversation. Mr. Nappy will be bringing all of your surveys home to me, so I'll be able to converse with you that way as well. All right, stop talking, Mrs. Nappy. It's time to get to the fun stuff. Who is Mrs. Nappy?
Welcome back. So here is the about me portion of the segment where you get to know a little bit about my personality and who I am. Decide whether or not you like me.
Hi.
That's Tony. So here I am at prom with my BFF, Mrs. Zarinsky. We are also neighbors and we do a lot of stuff together. Here I am at about your age as a junior at Monmouth Regional High School. I've literally been here forever. Next to me is Mrs. Donahue's brother, who also went through high school and middle school. Here are some throwback facts. I actually had some teachers who were still here. Ms. Familio, Ms. Dill, and Ms. Karen Kampf. I also I also had students that are now currently faculty or staff. So Devin and Tamara Hayes, Mike Lee, Malik Wiggins, Jeff Schraga, and Mike Daly. What's up, guys? I do have current students at Monmouth Regional whose parents I went to school with and actually knew pretty well at the time. Mr. Jalen Reeves and the Pearson girls. Love your moms. And we still, in fact, had cockroaches, which is the true mascot of Monmouth Regional. But do not tell anybody I told you that because it's like a top secret. Fun facts? I don't know. The Commons. It was originally the Performing Arts Center, and the Performing Arts Center was built after my first year there, which meant we could no longer sit outside for lunch, and that was sad. But they built the fitness center at the same time, so that was pretty. I didn't do sports or clubs in high school except on paper. I played sports, recreation sports like everybody does until like 8th grade, and I did cheer, and I just not competitive. So I didn't keep doing it. I went into the arts when I got into high school, and I did a lot of drama. I did the news then, and I do it now. I also lived behind the high school off Sycamore, and I went to TFMS, Tinton Falls Middle School. There I am in 7th grade, still next to Mrs. Donahue's brother. I actually look exactly like my daughter in her 7th grade picture, minus the lipstick. Here I am at my prom, which means this was 22 years earlier than the last photo. Let's see if you remember what that looks like. And a little bit more about me is that while I lived and grew up in the area, I also spent a lot of time in Bayonne, New Jersey. So my boyfriend at the time was a very young Mr. Nappy, and that's where he lived. So by day, I lived on First Street, and by night, I lived on East Street. Also, fun fact, did you know the B in Benny is for Bayonne? It's Bayonne, Elizabeth, Newark, and New York. So here are some things I like, some music I like. Music is life. Without music, there would be no life. I listen to music for everything, for cleaning, for coping, for working, for exercising, for driving in the car. Let's see how many music hours you have compared to how many music hours I have at the end of the year from Spotify. I win. Also, here are some of my favorite shows. I failed to include Schitt's Creek, which is hilarious, but I did. Yeah, I know that show. I knew that show before it was cool to know that show. Anyhow, these are some of the shows that I like, which have a very similar theme going on of crime and drugs. So that's interesting. Here are some of the movies that I like. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but you can kind of take a look and get to know that I like a lot of different stuff. Here's some of the books that I've really enjoyed reading. A lot of powerful memoirs on addiction, some really good fiction about personal struggle, and then my favorite satire on personal struggle that is has just the best cartoons and most hilarious conversations. And finally, is it finally? I don't know. What else? So I have a lot of hobbies, and in the wellness world, we refer to our hobbies as a piece of our intellectual wellness. And I actually like to include physical wellness in my hobbies, which is a little bit frustrating for me at the time, as I cannot do the things. But things I like to do are creating things, doing art with my kids, creating things for work, whatever it is, hanging out with these six fools over here. They're all girls. There's a lot of them. I see them a lot, sometimes all together, but mostly in groups of 4. 2 of those are the Savrinsky kids. I love yoga. I've been doing it since I was 18. I've been lifting since I was about 19, maybe. I love doing that. I used to do tons of cardio, kickboxing, HIIT, all that fun stuff. But then my joints were like, no, we're done with this. And I didn't listen at first and eventually had to listen. Other things I like doing, I love getting tattoos. I love finding matching necklaces with Miss Sabrinsky. I like all the yoga stuff, tarot, spiritual stuff. That's a harmonium that you can play and do chants with. So yeah, all that good stuff I like. Let's see, going across, we've already addressed my love of best friend necklaces, and I like to go to concerts. So this is me and my youngest. My oldest was also there. She's here now on our way to a K-pop concert. I like to maintain order in the Oval Office because, that's very important. So sometimes I have to argue with them. It's hard times. I like to dress for the occasion whenever possible. I like to overdo it. I just like to be extra. I like to hang out with Bad Bunny, in my free time. I like to read, and I love to advocate for mental illness. Here's some random things I like. I'm going to apologize to my friend Danique, who is seeing this part for the second time. You're the only one, though, so sorry. Up in the top left corner, you can see my favorite beverage of all time. It is hot coffee. I like a regular coffee. I like Sumatra. I like a dark roast, really. And I like it black. I'll take a decaf black, though, too. If it's late in the day, I want to make sure I get my sleep. Because sleep is an important part of health. So anyway, I also will, however, take an iced coffee with oat milk. I just thought you should know what kind of coffees I like. No particular reason other than, I like that coffee.
Yeah, totally, just to get your students to buy it.
What? That's not why. What is she talking about? I also like sushi, and I don't expect you to buy that for me because it's expensive. And I love ice cream, but I'm lactose intolerant. So I just like pay homage to the dairy-free ice cream gods. Like,
Me
thank
too.
you. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard life. I love all things outdoorsy, mountains and lakes in particular. I could stay there for my life. These fun little dancers represent my love of getting down. No, I'm just kidding. I like to dance. I love the art of dance. And obviously, we've talked about my life necessity of music, which you can see below. I also like astrology because it's fun and I find it to be accurate. I know that it's controversial. I love to study the mind. Psychology was my minor, and I think the human brain is fascinating. I love all of the arts, anything Latin American. My mom grew up in Colombia, and my grandparents are from Colombia, and anything just related to them and their culture is something that I connect to. I love animals and helping people and just cruising in my car, listening to music. And last but not least, I clearly love writing. And just for my mindfulness class, bonus slides. Actually, this is also for Danique. Hi again. All right, so who am I and why should you listen to anything I say? First of all, I never said you should listen to me. I mean, I have some good life experience, but ultimately you decide who you are and what works for you. That being said, in the rooms, people will often qualify or state the experiences they had that align with the group they're speaking to. We're going to need another slide for this one. So here are all of the things that I wouldn't say make me an expert in struggle and living or the human experience, because who's to decide when we become an expert, and really that would defeat. I'm recording this. That would defeat. Thank you. That would
I'm sorry.
defeat the whole idea of practice. What? I'm going to pause this now. All right. So as I was saying, here are the things that I've experienced that have greatly contributed to my personal growth and points of view about life and the brain. So anyhow, in terms of families, broken families, broken families affect individuals whether we want it to or not. It just makes sense that they do. I'm totally an ally of the LGBTQ plus movement and all that are involved in it. And when I was 13 and my parents got divorced, my mom came out as gay. So I wasn't mad at her. I wasn't surprised. It was just, I was 13 and it was a difficult time and it was two big transitions at once. So that was interesting. There's alcoholism in my family. Fortunately, there's also recovery. There is mental illness in my family, and I hate using that word. I feel like it's so stigmatized. I'm not sure how else to phrase it, but yeah. I also come from a blended family since I've come from a broken family. I also have experienced half siblings and step family. And last but not least on this side is that I have very similar experience to those who have an immigrant parent and the kind of cultural collide that happens there. My mom was born in New York, smooth move on my grandparents' part, but she grew up in Colombia and she lived there until she was 20. Other things that have contributed to my adventure are my own personal struggles with mental health, addiction and recovery, burnout, complex PTSD, autoimmune disease. I have rheumatoid arthritis, which is an inflammation of the joints. I have other health conditions like fibro and IBS, which is probably why I had my appendix out. I'm in recovery from ED, and I'm a yoga teacher and health enthusiast, or I have been a yoga teacher and health enthusiast since 2023. So for 20 years, I have all types of certifications beyond yoga, like in fitness and health, overall health, and even educating on health. In other words, I'm like certified to do this. All right, so about this class. First and foremost, the class is about you. I need your input. I need the things you care about. I need you to be willing to become part of the conversation so that you can get the most out of this class. Topics go anywhere from mental health to stress to mindfulness, physical health. We look at emotions. We talk about relationships, spirituality, and we do a lot with coping skills, the practice of them. So the practice is one way that we go about doing all of these things, right? So what that means is it's not something we perfect. We're never gonna like get it. We just continue to practice it and do better. Also, there'll be a lot of discussion. We'll watch a whole bunch of things. We'll read excerpts from different books or different articles. Nothing heavy. We'll journal because self-reflection is a big part of this. Mr. Nappy is doing the dishes in the background, so that is noisy. But I want to finish this one. So yeah, journaling, extensions. Extensions will include anything that is connected to the topic we're discussing or learning about. And there'll be certain assignments that I'll post on Classroom, and that's how you will get an A+ in this class, is by doing some extensions. There'll be group activities, projects, and of course, volunteer work. So that is it. I apologize for all of the noise, but I'm not home alone anymore. Tony says goodbye. And if you have any questions that you didn't put on the surveys, please use the surveys. There's one on Google and there's a paper one. They're totally different. So anyway, if you have any other questions, feel free to email me. I will get back to you. I'm not doing anything else. You can also join our Remind, which is at Lady Nappy, and you text that to 81010. Like it says at the bottom, I'm going to do my best to engage with you while I'm out in hopes that it'll kind of still give us that back to school camaraderie. So if you like want to do a live or something, let me know. But if you don't, that's fine too. All right. Bye.